Hello, good evening, and welcome to News 360 here from the News Hub at Adesawe, Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
Government releases 43 million cedis for University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG.
Also, 10-member regional team to implement program under the $1 million per constituency fund swarm into office.
Also in the bulletin, Ghana's roads and bridges, as well as electric power and potable water infrastructure, described as in poor to fair condition.
Ghana Highways Authority begins emergency maintenance work on the weak Anya and Kwanta Bridge linking Kumasi to Obuasi in the Ashanti region.
Coming up in business this evening, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to remove all internal barriers across the country by September 1, 2017.
And on the international front, assailants shoot dead 5 Egyptian policemen in Badrashin, a town south of Cairo.
We've got the details of these stories as well as the very latest from the world of sport and entertainment here on News 360. Remember, we're streaming live on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook.
Let's go on to our first story this evening. The police administration has been speaking about the recent robbery attack. We're going to be getting into details of that particular story as we go on in the bulletin. The Ministry of Finance has immediately released 45 million cedis out of the 55 million cedis to be paid the book and research allowance of members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, for the 2016-2017 academic year. The ministry has begun initiated process also to release another tranche of 10.5 million cedis as arrears to offset the debt owed the university lecturers.
UTAG has already threatened the government to withdraw services if the arrears are not paid. Again, the association is calling for the constitution of university councils within 2 weeks. However, the Ministry of Finance through the Education Ministry has released 45 million cedis to pay the book and research allowance. It has again initiated process to finalize the release of another tranche of 10.5 million cedis as arrears to pay the aggrieved lecturers. Professor Kwesi Yanka is the Minister of State in charge of tertiary.
An amount of 43 million cedis covering the first and second batches of requests sent by tertiary institutions through the NCTE has been released by the Ministry of Finance to the Controller and Accountant General, representing 80% of the claims submitted by respective institutions.
In a related development, the Council of State through the Education Ministry has approved the constitution of councils for 7 public universities.
University of Ghana, Chairman, Professor Yao Chumesi. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Chairman, Professor Emeritus Kwame Sapong. University of Cape Coast, Chairperson, Mrs. Nancy Thompson. University of Education, Winneba, Chairperson, Professor Emmanuel Nicolas Abeka. University of Health and Allied Sciences, Chairperson, Justice Doche. University of Mines and Technology, Chairperson, Dr. Steven Safuro Irenchi. University of Development Studies, Chairperson, Mr. Nutifafa Koyehia. Sunyani and UPSA are yet to be announced, and those will be forthcoming in the next few days.
The minister again pleaded with UTAG not to disrupt academic work since government is poised to resolve its concerns. Meanwhile, the national president of UTAG, Dr. Harry Agbanu, in a telephone interview with TV3, has lauded government for facilitating the payment.
Meanwhile, the University of Education Winneba chapter of the University of Teachers Association of Ghana UTAG says they are withdrawing their services until a decision is taken on the 2 officers of the institution who've been asked to step aside. This follows a ruling by the Winneba High Court asking the Vice-Chancellor and the Finance Officer to step aside.
The Winneba High Court on Wednesday, July 12, dismissed application filed by the University of Education Winneba chapter of UTAG to join the suit against the university by one Supi Kofi Kwayera, the Vice-Chancellor Professor Mauto Avoka, and the Finance Officer Theophilus Akoli were asked to step aside or refrain from operations. Government, on the other hand, has been given 14 days to constitute a new governing council. Alexander Afenyomakin, who is holding brief of the plaintiff's counsel, Peter Zuenes, after the court ruling, said he agrees with UTAG over the call for new governing councils, but stressed he does not understand why UTAG did not make the call earlier.
UTAG never spoke, so I am happy that today UTAG has found it fit to call on government to reconstitute governing councils with the view that if this is not done, it would affect academic work.
Local president of UTAG, Dr. Samuel Ofori Bekoi, also expressed displeasure over the court ruling asking the Vice-Chancellor and the Finance Officer not to undertake any activities. According to him, 95 lecturers and other departmental heads were appointed by the past council, thus will not render services until an emergency meeting with the national executives has been held to take a final decision.
For UTAG, yes, we are not offering any service. All our services are withdrawn until we get further instruction from the National Executive Committee of UTAG, starting from now, today.
The substantive case has been adjourned to October 9, 2017.
Now, 1,424 LLB graduates turned up at the University of Ghana campus to participate in this year's entrance examinations into the Ghana Law School. Godfred Tenham reports the examinations went ahead despite efforts to place an injunction on the process.
An Accra High Court on July 13 ruled against some 11 students who filed an application to place an injunction on the Ghana Law School entrance examination. The ruling of the High Court comes after the Supreme Court delivered a judgment on June 22 declaring the entrance exam and interviews as unconstitutional. The Supreme Court, in its judgment in a case filed by a US-based lawyer, Professor Kuku Asare, said the requirements were in violation of the LI 1296, which is clear on the processes used in admitting students into the law school. After the ruling by the High Court, another attempt was made to place an injunction on the exam. However, 1,424 LLB graduates thronged to the University of Ghana campus to take part in the exam. In a serene atmosphere, candidates were glued to their question papers, obviously providing answers to questions. Candidates indicated despite the battle in court to hold the exam, they were prepared for it.
These were desperate measures by the students to test the waters to see if it was possible to set aside the decision. But personally, I'm a pragmatist, so I knew it was not going to work, so I kept on preparing.
You are preparing for exams, but where there's a degree of uncertainty surrounding it, it's obviously naturally doesn't help with your preparation. But somehow in my mind, I felt we were going to write these exams.
I think most of us were still reading, even though we knew it was in courts and then there were issues involving writing the exams or not. So in general, most people, let's say, were reading and then were prepared.
One of the petitioners who took part in the exam, Kenato Donko, said he was not fully prepared for the exam due to the court case.
As of the time yesterday, looking forward for the court to grant us an interlocutory injunction, which the court in its own wisdom declined. And as law-abiding citizens, we decided to, follow the due process as in the rule of law.
Away from the educational sector, tidal wave attacks have made life unbearable for residents of Anlo Beach, a fishing community in the Shamar district of the Western region. Residents are pleading with government to support them relocate to an already earmarked land.
Anlo Beach lies at the estuary of the Pra River and the sea. The recent rainfall has caused both the Pra River and the sea to overflow its banks, submerging several houses. About 80% of the community has been taken over by floods. Tidal wave attacks have swept 198 houses along the shores of the Anlo Beach. 838 residents have now been displaced. Anlo Island, close to the Anlo Beach, which served as a tributary between Shama and the Anlo Beach, had been cut through to link the community to the island to enable floodwaters flow out. Residents are worried that the entire community can be submerged in few years if nothing is done to address the situation. Residents are unable to cross to Shama with a canoe due to the turbulent nature of the estuary. They are compelled to use road transport to Shama, about 40 kilometers away. It costs between 10 to 20 cedis, unlike using a canoe that costs only 2 cedis over a 2-kilometer journey. The assembly member of the Anlo electoral area, Samuel Bolu, described the situation as unfortunate.
The only solution we have is to ensure that people living around this area is evacuated. And every day in, day out is keep on widening. So there's a tendency that all those living here might be submerged and then taken away by the sea entirely.
The chief of Anlo Beach said residents are ready to relocate but want government assistance in building affordable houses.
Already we have about 400 acres. We need the government to bring the dozer so that they make the lane to the site. And if there's any help from NGOs to give us some materials for supporting the building.
All schools in the community are closed since teachers who live outside the town are reluctant to return to work.
The Ghana Highways Authority has started an emergency maintenance work on the weak Anya-Nkwanta Bridge linking Kumasi-Obuasi in the Ashanti region. This follows TV3's news report on the risk posed to commuters by the weak bridge. Here's Benjamin Edu's report.
2 weeks ago, the weak bridge that serves commuters plying the main Kumasi-Anya-Nkwanta-Obuasi road was exposed. The steel bridge, which was constructed in the 1960s, has however become a death trap following years of neglect. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, had described the bridge as a disaster in waiting due to its weak metal joints and broken slabs. Ghana Highway Authority moved in quickly to undertake emergency maintenance works to fix the facility. The project being executed by Asabia Engineering is expected to be completed in 1 month. Some residents in nearby communities are happy at the quick response and appealed for early completion of the project.
Some 4 years ago, a truck fell into this water body, killing 23 people. When it rains, the flood covers the road. Initially, our town authorities planned to plant trees around the water body, but now the government is working on its completion. I'm grateful that the bridge is being completed, and I plead with the government to see to the full completion.
The Ashanti Regional Director of the Ghana Highways Authority, Engineer Christian Inti, appealed for public cooperation and assured them of early completion of the project.
Work is going on. We are happy with the response. He's indicating that within a month or so, we should be able to put the situation under control. But in the long term, we are looking at a concrete bridge which will be able to solve the problem once and for all.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has reiterated the need to encourage excellence in every sphere of society to promote development. The president said this when members of the Millennium Excellence Foundation called on him at the Flagstaff House here in Accra.
The visit by the Millennium Excellence Foundation was to formally introduce members to the president and inform him about new areas of interest.
Our board of the directors and governors made a decision a few years ago that we should get involved in activities on the African continent as the whole, including Ghana, in order to help people achieve in certain key areas like agriculture, science and technology.
President Akufo-Addo promised government support to encourage the spirit of excellence.
The possibility of government being able to piggyback on some of your work is a solid suggestion. I like the idea of this database of professionals and scientists that you identified. I think it's something that should be very useful for us. And I would recommend very strongly that in due course the Chief of Staff make contact with you and see to what extent we can also use those facilities. It's all in the interest of the development of our nation.
To one major story that's been trending for quite a while. The police administration has placed a 10,000 cedi bounty on the heads of the two criminals who shot and killed a police constable and wounded another at Abekala Pass Thursday afternoon. The police personnel were on normal community policing duty when the armed men shot at them at close range.
The incident reportedly occurred around 1:30 p.m. Thursday, July 13. The two armed robbers on a motorbike wielding a gun opened fire on the two community policing personnel on the George Bush Highway. The criminals sped off the crime scene in a car they later snatched from the owner. Number 49195 General Constable Daniel Usu died whilst receiving treatment at the police hospital, but the second officer is still on admission. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante-Apietu, lamented the spate of targeted killing of police personnel on lawful duty and called for public support.
The killing of a constable who was on lawful community policing duties to protect the public is a matter of concern to the police administration, as well as the entire police service. On this note, the police administration is offering reward of 10,000 Ghana cedis to anyone who provides information leading to the arrest of those behind this criminal act. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to appeal to the public to assist the police in bringing to anyone who provides information leading to the arrest of those behind this criminal act. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to appeal to the public to assist the police in bringing these criminals to face the law.
He again lamented the lack of appropriate logistics to aid operation and protect them.
It is true that we have some logistics challenges, and this is what we are going to address. The mandatory wearing of armor, when they are provided to them, will be a policy. And then also the wellness of our officers and other logistical needs should be provided them when they are on such operational duties. We are not fully supplied with our needs. This is not peculiar in Ghana. Things have happened. But for us, this is a wake-up call, and we will need to re-evaluate our officer safety.
The Inspector General of Police, who was inaugurating the new Kanishi Divisional Police Headquarters, urged the public to be security conscious and help the police fight crime.
So this unfortunate occurrence certainly does raise the issue. Is there a need to better protect police officers while on their line of duty from violent civilians? There certainly is. Here on the screen, because this issue is not in isolation, on May 28, 2017, late Corporal Robert Kumi Aka was shot dead at Dawa Dawa on the Buipe-Kintampo Highway. June 13 of 2017, late Lance Corporal Michael Poiri was shot by two suspected armed robbers at Michelle Camp in Tema. And on July 13, more recently, 2017, two police officers were attacked by two suspected armed robbers at Abeka, La Paz. So the question that we are asking is, should we better equip our police officers as they are on their line of duty protecting us civilians? There certainly is. Alfred, you're taking this discussion further with Sandy.
Clearly, and Natalie, what you have done, it paints a picture about what's happening now. I've been joined via Skype by Adib Sani. He is a security analyst. And Adib, if you can hear me, thank you. Good evening to you. I'm grateful for joining us via Skype this evening. Now, with the last 3 months, we've had over 3 or 4 police personnel gunned down by armed robbers. Now, these are in different circumstances, but what do you make of these consistent cases of policemen being gunned down by armed robbers in the past 3 months?
Well, Alfred, if you arrive at work, you know, in whatever you do, you need to be strategic in your disposition. Indeed, the same way, if you are going to war, you have to be strategic. If you are going to work, you have to be strategic. And at the same time, these criminal elements, before they go to perpetrate their heinous crimes, get strategic with whatever they do. And the strategy here is usually when they go to attack a victim, they first of all try as much as they can to eliminate any threats or anything that would impede their operation. And it's usually security agents. Recently, I was reading an article by one of the kidnapped victims of Evans, the Nigerian who was recently arrested. And according to him, the day he was kidnapped, he was driving alongside his driver. And from nowhere, the gunmen appeared and started firing into the vehicle. For once, he thought it was an assassination attempt. But later, he found out from his kidnappers, and they told him, oh, they thought that his driver is a police officer. So first of all, what they do is they target the police officer to make sure there is no threat or no obstruction to whatever they come out to do. And it's no accident that this is happening, and it's a wake-up call for all of us. It's a wake-up call for stakeholders to take a closer look at how we can protect the protector. Because for years on end, we have consistently ignored the personal security of some of these security agents. Indeed, in policing, there are 2 ways that it can be done. We have the static and we have the dynamic. The static is the everyday police duties, you know, traffic management, and to make sure people don't flout traffic regulations, etc. But we have the dynamic, which is like putting together a unit, you know, to confront an emerging security threat. But we're forgetting that in the performance of the static everyday duty of the police, he can be unexpected, confronted with a dynamic security situation. And how does he protect himself in that regard? We don't give them the adequate training to be able to protect themselves at the personal level. We don't give them the adequate logistics, like at least bulletproof jackets, or they should be well armed.
Right, but you make a critical point there. Now, what exactly, in your estimation, could have underscored the boldness that these criminals have now to shoot at policemen and kill them? And this has been consistent, at least in the last 3 months. We've counted 4 of them. Could it just be the lack of logistics of the police, which we know is open secret? We know about it. Apart from that, why do they now have the boldness and the courage to shoot and kill policemen at crime scenes?
Well, in recent years, criminals have become more vicious. They have become more audacious and more daring, particularly from a conflict analytical perspective, because of the new trends in crime, because of new issues, because of new actors, because of new weapons. They have become quite audacious, and they would stop at nothing to perpetrate their acts of criminality. But that notwithstanding, like I indicated, it raises some legitimate concerns over how we can better train our police officers, especially. So in carrying out their everyday routine duties, they should be trained better to confront emerging security threats that come their way, you know, when they don't expect it. Also, I think we should dedicate some resources to provide more logistics for them, because these criminals plan, they arm themselves to the teeth. You know, imagine them coming with several magazines containing 30 bullets each, and you are there with an AK-47 and perhaps with a single magazine which is not even filled up. I think it's important we take a closer look at it. But It is, first of all, imperative we understand the police subculture. We get to understand their challenges, what their needs are, then we can take the next step.
Finally, now, this particular incident, which happened yesterday at La Paz, is quite peculiar. I mean, you have it happening in broad daylight at a location which is busy, a traffic intersection, and people walking through that place. They were able to shoot down or gun down the police, snatch a vehicle, speed off without being arrested. Now, what does this tell you?
Well, after the incident yesterday, I took the trouble to go to the crime scene. I spoke with a number of eyewitnesses who told me for once they thought it was a Kumawood movie. And I even watched a clip taken from a trotro, and there was this gentleman standing right beside them. He didn't know what exactly was going on. And there were these people in trotro, you know, making all sorts of comments. And at the point, the mates even stepped out of the vehicle to approach them. But it was then they realized it was a much more serious issue they could imagine. But like I told you, the criminals, especially with the proliferation of arms, with the fledgling local gun manufacturing industry in Ghana, with crime statistics indicating that over 80% of weapons seized at crime scenes in the country are locally manufactured. And we have for years on end consistently turned a blind eye to the scourge of local gun manufacturers in Ghana. And it is even in contravention of the 1972 Arms and Ammunition Act, which is explicit about the IGP having a register of all weapons in the country. Unfortunately, as we speak, according to research, there are over 3 million guns in the hands of private people illegally. And because of this proliferation, it's giving these criminals the impetus, it's giving them the motivation, because you can imagine them approach a police officer, they are better armed than, they are well prepared than, you know, it gives them that impetus to continue to engage in their crime.
Adib, thank you very much. Adib Sani is a security analyst and executive director of Jakite Center for Human Security, joining us via Skype tonight. Hello, very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the business news on News360. Well, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority says it will by September 1, 2017 remove all internal barriers across the country to enhance trade along the borders. Well, according to the Commissioner General Isaac Krentel, the first phase of the project will be piloted in the northern region starting July 31, 2017.
This announcement follows government directive that all such barriers be removed. This is expected to enhance trade along the country's borders effective September 1 this year. This directive, according to government, when implemented, will see an end to physical inspection of goods at customs checkpoints mounted on major highways across the country. The Commissioner General of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Isaac Krentel, says his outfit is poised to ensure the implementation of the government directive. He indicated that the first phase of the project will begin in the northern region starting July 31, 2017 on pilot basis.
Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is going to remove all the internal barriers starting from the northern region. Then 15th August will come down to the southern region to also remove some of the barriers, so that by 31st August we have done the evaluation, then 1st September we roll it out.
He said Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has adopted comprehensive measures to prevent traders from being attacked.
We are going to ensure that once the barriers are removed, we ensure that trade flows fluently. However, we are also going to ensure that the traders are free from any attack from armed robbers, terrorists, anything that will impede their work.
The Controller General of Immigration, Kwame Suatechi, stressed the Immigration Service will constantly collaborate with the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority to strategically address cross-border crimes.
By the collaborative efforts of our sister security institutions, Customs, BNI, we are not working alone. We have been assisted by other sister security agencies because we are here to protect the national interest in terms of national security.
Right, in other news, TV3's weekly business and economic analysis program, Business Focus, has been awarded at the 2017 edition of the Startup Awards ceremony. Well, the event took place at the Mervyn Bacon Ambassador Hotel and saw other startup businesses awarded for their contribution to the country's economic growth.
TV3 for providing engaging educational content for young people to be inspired and updated with current affairs in business and entrepreneurship. Through your programs such as Business Focus, Meet the Captains, and other business-focused initiatives. To TV3 Business, we say, Ayiko.
Congratulations, TV3.
It was a splendid award ceremony organized by the African Network of Entrepreneurs, TENU, through its flagship initiative, the Startup Network. More than 150 startups in Ghana were nominated for awards in various categories, including media, agriculture, health, education, fintech, and technology. 10 companies were also shortlisted for the ultimate award, Startup of the Year Award. TV3's Business Focus was amongst the award winners.
This is an encouragement that a lot more needs to be done, and we need to give more opportunity to startups and businesses so the world gets to know what exactly they do to establish their businesses and also make their businesses grow.
So moving forward from this stage and going even higher than this, we need to do a lot of research, stay close, follow events. So this is more of a challenge to us, and our dream or our objective is to move up. The Premium Bank Ghana Startup Awards, which is in its second year, is designed to recognize and reward the works and contributions of startups to the Ghanaian economy and also create a thriving community of startups collaborating and empowering the startup ecosystem. This year's awards event was preceded by an exhibition, dialogues, pitches, and speed workshops. Public voting was opened many weeks ago and closed on the 3rd of July. Your weekly business and economic analysis show, Business Focus, with its latest edition, Time with the Captains, were singled out for praise. A commenter is Chief Executive Officer of TENU.
Well, we are studying media houses, especially for people that are quite receptive to our appeal for them to support startups. And TV3, through your programs, you are quite receptive when it comes to working with startups and giving your platform to expose entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So in our study and research, we realized that TV3 was one of the most prominent media houses that actually presents their platform for promotion of entrepreneurship and startups, hence the award. You're welcome.
The awards, which is being sponsored by Premium Bank, is in partnership with the Help Station, KPMG, iConcepts PR, Advanced Media, Idle Consults, Kumasi Hive, Hyperspace, MEST, Ghana Think Foundation, and Tent Maker Ghana. All right, so congratulations to us, congratulations to our viewers as well, and immense appreciation to producers, directors, and all of you, including management, for your support. We'll keep giving you the best. That's all for the business news on 360. My name is Marcus. Sorry, for more news, log on to our website, 3news.com. Hand it over back to you, Alfredo Kante. Wakwesi, thank you very much. And congratulations to you. You're the host of Business Focus. So you left out yourself. And I'm going to say congratulations to you. You did a good job right there. Now, away from that, government is to construct 25,000 boreholes and 300 small water supply systems in all 10 regions to improve access to potable water. Funding will be sourced from the $1 million per constituency program announced by government. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia disclosed this when he swore in a 10-member regional team for the project in Accra.
Among the many promises of the President Nana Addo-led government is a $1 million per constituency program. Under this program, every constituency is to receive $1 million annually to be used in undertaking development projects. A 10-member regional team is expected to disburse the money in the regions. The team will therefore spend the money to provide boreholes and small water systems. It is also tasked to collect views and conduct surveys on which businesses in the various constituencies are viable to attract investments. The Ministry of Special Development Initiatives will also rely on the money to help fight poverty through the Infrastructure Poverty Eradication Program. Under the program, small businesses such as soap making and bread baking would be enhanced. Constituencies are also expected to identify viable businesses and use some of the $1 million facility to improve and enhance operations. Hawa Kumsin is the Minister for Special Development and Initiatives.
Let me urge you all to bring to bear your skills, knowledge and expertise in the implementation of the program. I wish to assure you of my support and that of the President and his Vice, and the availability of ministry to help you as you soldier on.
The Chief of Staff, Fremo Sopare, was confident government would accelerate development through the initiative.
The MC said, because this is an innovation of His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to accelerate development for this country.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, underscored the relevance of the constituency fund in resolving basic challenges.
Priority initiatives, as we see them, water for all, toilets for all, the sanitation projects, one district, one factory. We expect all of these things to be implemented. In the same vein, as I say, to ensure that every Ghanaian has access to potable water and affordable water under this program, at least we expect.
He again charged the team to be circumspect in ensuring that the 25,000 boreholes are constructed.
Out of your $1 million, about $500,000 should be used for one district, one factory within each of the constituencies. So the Development Authority will be prepared to invest in each constituency up to about $500,000 to support businesses.
Meanwhile, Cabinet is considering the Development Authority bills and will lay it before Parliament next week.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has given approval for the act establishing the 3 development authorities to be laid before Parliament on Wednesday. The Coastal, Middle and Northern Belt Development Authorities will be key in the administration of the $1 million for every constituency each year. The bill is expected to be laid in Parliament on Wednesday. The Ministry for Special Development Initiatives had earlier indicated that the Infrastructure Poverty Eradication Program, IPEP, will be working with the various development authorities, including the Northern Development Authority, Coastal Development Authority and the Middle Belt Development Authority until their approval. Minister for the sector, Mavis Hawakumsin, who made this known, said these 3 authorities are pending parliamentary approval, hence the need for a 10-member team to establish the priorities in the various constituencies. We'll certainly bring you more on this development subsequently. You're watching News 360. Next, we have the very latest from the world of sports with Thierry Nan. Stay with us.
Time for sports news now with me, Thierry Nyan, here on News 360. Now we start off with the Ghana Premier League. Matchday 23 is this weekend. And remember, we have brought you the news of Kumasi Asante Kotoko's accident, and that means their game against Accra Hearts of Oak has been suspended. And according to the Premier League board, it is indefinitely. So we'll let you know what exactly the development will be on that. But let's take a look at the other fixtures, because all the other games still are going to be going on this particular weekend. Bichem United will come up against Boga All Stars in a very, very, very crucial encounter. While All Stars will also face Liberty Professionals. Brekum Chelsea will come up against Wafa, the leaders of the Ghana Premier League as it stands. As Shanti Gold will face Elmina Sharks. Idiana Stars against Ebusua Dwells. Great Olympics will also face Mediama Sporting Club. Tema Youth against Inter Allies. These are the fixtures of the Ghana Premier League. All right, so away from that, let's go straight to some boxing news. Ghanaian boxer Isaac Dogbe has become one of the fastest growing sportsmen in the country. He burst onto the scene a few years ago and has slowly carved a niche for himself as one of the men to put Ghana back on the boxing map. In a quest to attain greatness in the sport, he has conquered many along the way and is hopeful he will win his imminent bout to propel him to greater things.
In 2011, when Dogbe left the comfort of state-of-the-art gyms in London to return home and train here, his decision was questioned. But after a run of 16 bouts without a loss, the tide of opinion is turning. Dogbe came onto the scene virtually from nowhere and has won the hearts of many boxing fans. The 2012 Olympian is brimming with confidence ahead of his imminent bout against Javier Chacon of Argentina. Says he feels ready, and for him, success cannot come a moment too soon.
We have to focus on the task ahead of us, and then from there, you know, God willing, praying to the Almighty to give us victory on the night, and then we're chasing, we're going to Vegas, man.
Dogbe's Argentine opponent has a run of 29 fights with 25 wins and just 3 losses. Chacon hails from a predominantly boxing lineage. His grandfather was once a boxing world champion, and it puts him in good standing ahead of the bout against Dogbe. Whoever wins on the 22nd of July has a chance at being a world champion, and Dogbe believes it won't be Chacon.
When someone loses, it means that the person is experienced. He can learn from it, you understand? So, however, if you have not lost before, it means that he cannot look at your loss and say that, oh, this is where he made a mistake or that's where he made a mistake. But I'm not looking at his loss. I'm looking to go in the ring and do what we do best.
The training is intense. Dogbe is breaking his sweat. He has trained for the last few days and is desperate to become Ghana's next big name in the sport of boxing. On the 22nd of July, when he fights Javier Chacon of Argentina, he will be inching closer to that dream. Yawo Fusulabi for TV3 Sports.
All right, so we return to some more football news and straight to Italy because the Juventus defender Leonardo Bonucci has agreed to join Serie A rivals AC Milan. The Italian international, who has been with their touring club for 7 good years, is signing a 5-year deal with the Milanese club and is hopeful of concluding the deal before the weekend. The defender was traveling to Milan for his medical on Friday morning. Milan will pay £35.2 million for the 30-year-old who has won 70 cups for Italy, and the move continues an incredible summer of investment by the new Chinese consortium in Italy.
Seasoned musician Reggie Rockstone wants road safety education intensified to check the speed of road accidents in the country, while expressing the sympathy of the Hip Life fraternity to the Kotoko Football Club over the accident a couple of days ago. The rapper cautioned stationary truck drivers to use their warning triangles to prevent accidents.
The bus of Kumasi Asante Kotoko Sporting Club ran into a stationary truck on July 12, leaving the team's assistant equipment officer dead. Many showbiz personalities have since expressed their sympathy to the club. Seasoned musician Reggie Rockstone is also saddened by the news.
From my family, from the Hip Life fraternity, warm love goes out to the legendary Asante Kotoko. I feel your pain. I rock my red. Salute.
The director for the reggae department of Musiga, Kwesi Nyakon Ofer, also consoled the team.
What has happened is gloomy, but we keep faith because we're a very strong family, and so we're going to storm this weather. To the entire Kotoko family, our condolences go out to you.
The veteran music stars want road safety education intensified to check what they described as avoidable deaths.
This phenomenon of stationary vehicles on our highways is taking too many lives, and it's unacceptable. I think it's time we began being responsible. You know, when we have such situations on our hands, we place the warning triangles at the appropriate, positions to avoid such deaths.
I'd like to send a cautionary shout out to all my brothers who are driving trucks, especially the big trucks. Please use your luminous triangles, just like seat belts, so the oncoming car, whoever is coming, can visually see that there's something in the way.
Clearly, he said it all.
Yeah, there is a need for more action with regards to stationary cars on roads.
Ghanaian lives matter, please. Thank you for staying with us here on News 360. My name is Alfred Akansi.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Remember, there's more news on our website, 3news.com, and News at 10 later tonight will simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Next is Tashan. Have a good evening. Enjoy your weekend.